Objectives of soil exploration and planning of exploration program. What are the objectives of exploration program? The main purpose of doing the site investigation or the soil exploration is to obtain information required for a safe and economic design of foundations, retaining structures, basements, etc. For this, we should know what is the load bearing capacity of the soil and the load and the probable settlement of the structure. For example, let's say that we are going to build a foundation, that we are going to construct a foundation. Now, depending on the load that is coming from the superstructure as well as the nature of the soil, we will be choosing whether to go for shallow foundation or deep foundation. In that also specifically, we can choose whether to go for spread footing, combined footing, raft foundation, etc. If the load is high, we can go for end bearing piles or friction piles. Now, if the area is marshy, we can go for well foundation, etc. The next objective it is to identify and solve environmental problems. During soil exploration, we should identify what are the potential foundation problems. For example, if the underlying soil has presence of expansive soils, collapsible soil, sanitary landfill, etc. This is because if these kind of soil are present underneath the ground, it may react unfavorably with water and it can cause shrinkage and swelling. Now, if these cases occur, we will have to employ some ground improvement technique and design the foundation accordingly. Third, to identify and solve excavation problems. Let's say we are constructing a basement for a multi-story building, and for that we are excavating the area. Here we have to locate the groundwater level beforehand so that we can select the appropriate excavation technique, and by that there won't be any cave-in or any other unprecedented situations. Next, prediction of lateral earth pressure for structures like retaining walls, sheet pile bulkheads, and brace cuts. So here you have a retaining wall, and on the right you will be having the backfill. Now this backfill will be giving a lateral earth pressure onto this wall. If the calculation of the lateral earth pressure is underestimated, the retaining wall can fail as shown in this picture. The next objective is to establish the different construction methods for changing subsoil conditions. The underlying soil may or may not vary. That is, it can be uniform or it can be varying. Now, depending on that, appropriate methods needs to be employed. To ascertain the suitability of the soil as a construction material. Now, you will be doing a number of tests on the field as well as you will be doing a number of tests in the laboratory. So, from these you can calculate, or from these you can obtain the properties of the soil. For example, the maximum dry density, the optimum moisture content, the plasticity index, etc. can be obtained. To investigate the safety of existing structures and to suggest remedial measures. Because of limit of land in urban areas, new construction has to be done very close to the existing structures. Therefore, the safety of these existing structures should be prioritized before starting any new construction. Planning of exploration program. When you plan a subsurface exploration program, it depends on a number of factors. Firstly, it depends on the type and importance of a structure and its loading. Here on the left, we have a mall, and on the right, we have a small wooden house located on a fairly level and what seems to be a good ground. We know that the load that is coming from this mall, that is the public building, is much greater than the load that is coming from the small structure towards the soil, as well as the number of individuals that is associated with this public building will be much greater than that associated with this small structure. Therefore, the investigation studies Therefore, the investigation studies done for public buildings will be much greater than that for small residential units. This is because the damage to property and life is more in the former in case of failure. Next, the nature and the variability of soil strata. The underlying soil can be varying or it can be uniform throughout. To understand that, boreholes are dug out. Now, if the soil variation is more prominent, more boreholes will be dug out to study the varying properties of the soil. Next, extent and location of site. If the site of the area is more, of the the study will be more. Now, if the site is located in already developed land, the extent of the study will be less. That is, in the left we have a developed residential area, and on the right you have a barren land. Now, let's say that we want to construct a new building in this already developed area. So, before we start constructing the structure, we can collect the details of the site from the already available data that was done for making the former buildings. While if we want to build a new structure in this barren land, extensive study has to be done on this site, that is on the right side, extensively. Cost of investigation in comparison to the overall cost of project. When the extent of the investigation increases, the cost of investigation increases. This will increase the overall cost of the project. Therefore, the cost of investigation is limited to 0.5 to 1% of the total cost of the project. Lastly, it depends on knowledge, experience, and engineering judgment. Planning of exploration program is difficult task. A thorough knowledge of soil engineering requires experience and good engineering judgment. In general, the aim of investigation should be to get maximum information that is useful for design and construction of project at minimum cost. The next topic will be on the stages of soil exploration program. Till then, stay blessed. Thank you.